Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Saturday Morning Coffee with Back to Basics Dog Training. For those of you who don't know me, I am Leon. I'm the head trainer here over at Back to Basics Dog Training. And each and every Saturday morning, I bring you this live free Q&A session to help you guys hopefully train your dogs if there's some behavioral issues that you're not sure how to deal with. This is the format, guys. You can ask me any questions. Nothing's off limits, and we try to answer the best we can given the parameters we have here. So as always, if you're watching now live or later on in the replay, shoot me a comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're watching it live. Let me know where you're watching it from. If you're watching later on in the replay, do the same thing. Let me know, hey, I caught you on the replay. I'm in, Tempe, Arizona. Let me know, because we do share this out to a bunch of Facebook groups across the country, and hopefully people have been sharing. I see a lot of shares this week, so people, thank you. But again, let me know in the comments that you're here. Let me know you're watching, and we're going to jump into it this week. After last week's interview with Sue, Hope's mom, it was really, really interesting. Good morning, Maya from Charlotte. I got a great question from a young lady, Anne. I'm not sure exactly where she was from, but she asked a really, really good question. And I want to start today's subject off with it for anybody who's watching who is in the rescue world, volunteers at shelters, does foster care or whatever. And apparently, from what I can gather from the Facebook message, is one of our wonderful volunteers that goes to shelters and helps other dogs, dogs in the shelter. So the question she asked me is, how do I get an sociable dog to bond with me? He's afraid of everyone. He's a rescue and scared of everything. Is this possible? Absolutely, guys. It is definitely possible to have this unsocial, close to type of feral dog, I call them, who is afraid of everything. They're street dogs. They don't know what to do. They don't know what their role is. They're terrified. I did answer the question, not realizing the dog was still in the shelter, and Anne was nice enough to go into a little bit more detail with it. The dog is still in the rescue, and I'm not there because one of the tricks is definitely feeding. And basically, it was a backyard breeder, year and a half Shar-Pei, half lab, 3-year-old dog, terrified of everything in the shelter. I guess its breeding cycle was over with, and the wonderful humans dumped it in the shelter. So I get this question a lot, and I see it a lot on Facebook. The dog is terrified, very hard to bond with people, may trust one person, not trust another person, and that's all very normal, guys. And here's what I have to explain to people. When you're dealing with a dog that is terrified, scared of everything, slow the whole process down. Don't try to force the dog to become your BFF. I think a lot of the disconnects that I see and I read about and I hear about is we want this dog to know they can trust us, so we kind of rush them too much, and we have to let them come to us. If they are food motivated, and it's real hard because when a dog is terrified, shut down, they may not take food, and it's real hard. But if they are food motivated, you can definitely use food to help them break out of that zone they're in their head. And you can do that by trying to hand feed them. Instead of putting it in their bowl, hand feed them. Let them come to you. Let them take the food from you. And when they're doing it, try not to get, oh my God, what a good boy, what a good, because you'll scare the hell out of them again. Let them come to you. Let them come to us. I worked with a feral dog, what I considered a feral dog not too long ago. And the best thing I did for that dog is let it take its time to come to me instead of me rushing towards that dog. So I hope that makes sense. And I'm going to get more into it because John, good morning, John, asked a question. And he says, I have a 6-year-old American Bulldog. When people pet him, he gets excited and starts biting them. He bites 5 people, so now I don't let people pet him. Yeah, and it's very common, again, because he's being rewarded, John, in an excited state of mind before the petting process probably happens, is why he's doing it. Don't forget, when dogs play, they're excited. They play with each other. They play with us. They tend to mouth people. And American Bulldog's a bite, so it can be very hard. and it can hurt people, it can break skin. They're not meaning it. They just don't have what they call bite inhibition in the world. Um, so it's you that needs to change the approach on how people introduce themselves to the dog. One, if your dog's state of mind is excited, nobody should be petting this dog. So just because he may sit, because you ask him to sit to be petted, I don't know if you do or not, doesn't mean his mind is calm. He's obedient, but he's not behaving. So if you're walking and you see somebody and they want to pet him, you have a right to say, no, don't pet him. Please don't pet him. And then when you see him, his mind calm down, have them start the process to pet him. Really weird. I don't know what's going on. Let me know if I'm still here, guys, because I said I lost connection and I don't understand why. So in a comment, just shoot me let me know if I'm still live and in living color. Um, so again, John, one of the things I would definitely recommend doing more of his state of mind, and when he's calm, start the process to petting. If the people are bending over to pet him and he gets excited, thank you, Grace. Um, Stop the process. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the feedback. So if they start to pet him and he gets excited, ask them to stop. Make him earn their affection. And it could take a long time. So I would definitely work with somebody who but the dog doesn't know so well. And then slowly let them pet. As soon as they start petting, if at any point he gets excited, make your correction. Pop the leash, say, no, you're not allowed to get excited at this point because his excitement can turn very quickly, as you know, and you really, really want to slow down the whole entire process. Again, guys, it's all about the energy. John, one thing I would definitely suggest to you is I know because he has bitten 5 people already, now there's that hesitation and nervousness with you. Oh my God, he may bite somebody. You got to let it go. Just let it go. Trust. Watch the body language. Watch his energy. And at any point in the petting process, he gets excited. It stops, and then we regroup, bring him back down to calm, start the process over. So the only way he gets the reward, which is being pet, is if he's in a calm state of mind. And if you do this repetitively, consistently, it works. The other thing I would say, and it's real hard because of the breed, is have a muzzle on the dog. The muzzle doesn't mean anything negative in my world. The muzzle will help more so you relax, so your energy changes because now you're not worried about the bite, but you do have the muzzle condition. And with an American Bulldog, it's very hard to get a properly fit muzzle. So, John, I hope that answered your question. It's a labor of love. And again, if you're out on a walk and people want to pet him and he's too excited, you can't let him. But keep in mind threshold management. Don't let him out the door of your living quarters excited. That's real important, guys, because if you can't control the excitement there, it's so much harder to control it outside the world. Um, so getting back to Anne's thing with the dog that was terrified. Um, Guys, it happens a lot. And as humans, we feel sorry for these dogs that are terrified. They're shut down. They're afraid of everything for whatever reason. This dog happened to be a breeding dog. Probably got no real human interaction to them. They're a lot of breeders. Unfortunately, these dogs are commodities. They're dollar symbols. They're not the family pet that we want them to be. So they're not. They're when they're not in breeding, they're by themselves. They're not dealing with humans. They just don't know how to socialize. And as humans, we want them to feel comfortable. And that's where we rush them and actually scare them because the state of mind they're telling you, I'm not comfortable. They're shut down. They're in the corner. They could be quivering, whatever. And we don't listen to what they're saying to us. They need to come out of their shell on their own time at their own pace. So you have to be willing to sit there, and it could be hours for a dog to come over to you finally just to accept a little bit of a pat on the head or a rub on the neck. And I always do recommend when you're dealing with insecure dogs, guys, pet underneath the neck, let them raise their head. It builds their confidence a little bit. Um, Food is usually a good motivator for these dogs like this. Like I said, if they're so shut down they don't take food, it's a little bit harder. Um, and when I say food, I'm not talking about their kibbles. When we're dealing with a dog like this, I'm going to give them something a lot more tasty, for lack of better terms. I'm going to use, you know, boiled chicken, meat, something that is high value. And it may be where you take this piece of chicken and you throw 2 feet in front of the dog, so the dog has to walk towards the chicken, and then the next piece you throw a foot closer to you and closer to you and close until you get the dog to come over to you to eventually start feeding them by hand. Um, and then again, I when they get that close to you and you're feeding them by hand, keep everything, keep your energy super calm. Don't use a lot of words. Feel it. Feel happy that the dog is doing it, but don't react to it. Because again, the normal human thing is when the dog's, oh, what a good boy. Yeah, yeah, you did it, you did it, you did it. And you scare it, and we start over because it actually scares the dog. So you're better off just in your head going, oh my God, this is so great. The dog is taking the food from my hand. This is so good, but your energy is going to dictate it. And I've done this enough times where while I'm thinking this and I'm feeling this and I'm feeling it with my heart, guys, you see the dog's tail start wagging because they read your energy and they understand and they appreciate you speaking their language. Our dogs are communicating to us all the time. And if we're not paying attention to them, we're not helping them. It's no different than when you verbalize to somebody, I don't like snakes. And you're telling them, you're verbalizing this, and they're putting a snake in your face. Well, since our dogs can't tell us they're not comfortable in their own skin, they're not comfortable around humans, they can't verbalize it, but they are telling us by their body language and their energy. And as dog lovers around the world, we need to appreciate what they're saying and hear what they're saying by their body language and energy. Guys, please, in the comments, let me know if this makes sense, because if we can get our fosters and our volunteers at these shelters to understand this, we can help these dogs out of these shells, and we can use that same methodology on other issues with dogs: the overexcited, the aggressive, the whatever. It's your energy that's going to control the situation by reading what your dog is saying through their body language and energy. And it's real hard. I know you can go on Facebook or Google and you can Google dogs body language and energy, and you're going to get thousands of probably different versions of what I talk about, energy and body language. And I look at all these things and they all show me things, and it's so weird because I kind of really do understand dogs body language, and I've read some of those little picture charts that I've seen online. I'm like, yeah, but that ain't true. um, just because the dog is wagging its tail, we all know, doesn't mean it's happy and it's carefree. Wagging a tail is wagging a tail. The body language is going to make more how they wag their tail. There's a theory out there: if they wag it right to left, it's different than if they wag it left to right. If it's going in circles, sometimes I've seen dogs like rattlesnake tails. That tells you a lot. So you got to learn to read your dog's body language and their energy. What are they communicating to me? Are they communicating to me they're scared? Well, then everything has to be a slower process. Are they communicating to me that they're excited? That's a different process. Are they communicating to me they're aggressive? That's a different process. But the whole process is, good morning, Joan. Charlotte has no tail. Okay. Again, people put a lot of onus on the tail, Joan. Um, and, but the body language is always going to be the same. If they're sitting there, I talk about it a lot, especially when I deal with insecure dogs. Dogs go through a process, guys, when they're insecure or scared or whatever human word we want to put on it. Uh, I've heard that too, John. If wagging to the right means they love you, I'm not sure. I'll tell you now, my dog Zoe, most of the time, when I pet her, she stops wagging her tail for some reason. So I don't know, and I think she loves me. I don't put a lot of onus on tails. I do look at tail positioning when they deal with other dogs. If it's straight up in the air, if they have a tail, if it's straight up in the air and it's very rigid, it shows a dominant side, so I'm kind of aware of it. Um, but somebody like Joan who says Charlotte doesn't have a tail, again, the tail is a sign. It gives you some sort of communication, but the body language is there. And like I was saying, dogs that have almost the same type of reactions we do to situations, and that is fight, flight, avoidance, submission in that order. So if I'm dealing with this dog like Anne was asking me about, who's in the shelter, um, and I was dealing with this dog, I would be reading its body language, and if I can get it on a leash, its first reaction may be to fight me because I'm not comfortable. I need to get. Most dogs won't do that because most dogs aren't. No dog is aggressive by nature. Um, so they may not fight me because my energy is that of as that pack leader, that alpha energy. But they will try to do the flight mechanism, which is let me get the hell out of here. And one of the key body languages I tell people to look at is the avoidance body language. I worked with somebody this week with a Doberman, and the dog was definitely, or actually it was a Dachshund because they had two dogs, well, four dogs, but we worked with two of them. The Dachshund, who everybody was saying was an aggressive dog, was actually an insecure, dominant dog. Um, and when I was making the corrections on the leash, it went into avoidance stage, and that's where they kind of hunker their body and they don't want to make direct eye contact with you. And that's a real important phase to watch because that's usually when people tend to try to interact with the dog, and the dog is telling you, I'm trying to make myself look like I'm not here, leave me alone. That's when you need to step it back and just stay with the dog. Let it figure out, hey, look, I did this and this person didn't try to bring me into that circle that quick. Oh, I can trust this person. I can start trusting this person. I was one of my listeners on here um, sent me a video. Good morning, Andrea. No problem. That's why we do an hour. There's never being late, and you can always catch it later on the replay. Um, so a customer sent me a video, and I didn't ask permission to show it on here, so I'm not going to pull it up on here to show you guys. I will ask this week, so maybe next week I'll show it. And it's an insecure dog who reacts with the lunge and the bite when people approach it wrong or he's just not comfortable or whatever. And in one of the videos, the dog was accepting being pet. It was a little too much of the process. I think they did it a little too long, but that's okay. And the second video, they sent that person that was coming over to approach the dog. If you look at the person, don't look at the dog so much. You can see this person is walking sideways, backwards, kind of very tense, very unsure. And then you start looking at the dog, and you can see the dog is like, okay, this is not normal. This energy is not good. This energy is not good. And slowly but surely, you can see the dog is trying to almost get away, like get into its own shell. You can see the whole avoidance stage. And then at one point, start petting. Gentleman leans down, is making direct eye contact with this dog that he's just petting. And the dog is still in that avoidance mode, like, leave me alone. I'm not really comfortable with this whole situation. And the dog is looking at him out of the corner of his eye. The guy is looking back at the dog, and the dog lunges because nobody listened to what the dog was saying. And it's real important, guys. We listen to what they're communicating to us. You're walking on the street and you want to go pet somebody's cute little dog, but you see the dog hiding behind the person, or just trying to be away from that avoidance stage. Don't approach the dog. Have a conversation with the owner. Let the dog come to you. Let the dog smell you. They should start smelling your feet, work their way up, and leave you the hell alone after they smell you. And don't make. We tend to make a big deal out of a lot of this stuff. And sorry, somebody opened the door and I got a little confused. That's okay. That's the beauty of being live.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Maybe.
So if we learn to read the body language, guys, I know I sound like a broken record. I know it. but I need to get the word out there. I need you guys to spread the word. That's why I ask every week, please share this format. You know, on your Facebook, share with your Facebook friends around the country, around the world. John, I know you watch me on YouTube. I know there's ways to share the links on YouTube. I'm not a big, don't know how to use it. Share the information. Share my Facebook page. Share my website. Get this information out there so we can truly all start speaking the language together for our dogs. And the beauty of energy being the most important form of communication between us and our dogs is it doesn't matter what our native language is. If you speak English, that's great. If you speak Spanish, that's great. If you speak Chinese, Japanese, or whatever it is, it's great because your energy is universal. It translates to everything. So it doesn't matter. You got, somebody who maybe not speak English may not understand what I'm saying, but we can understand what the dog is saying. And I've worked with dogs when there was a whole bunch of dogs that came to this country from Puerto Rico, and a lot of people were convinced we couldn't train the dogs here because we didn't all speak Spanish, and it doesn't matter. It's energy. And the more I can get it out there, the people I worked with this week, um, they didn't realize how much their energy was putting negatively into their dog. John, another thing he does when he's watching TV, there are gunshots or fights, he starts barking at the TV. You know what? It's actually a great point, John. I have two dogs here that I'm watching for people while they're away, and they bark at animals on TV. They see another dog on TV, they start barking. They see a tiger, they start barking. They just bark at animals on TV. So what I did is I did what I suggest to everybody else. I put them on leash. And when a dog or an animal came on TV, I made my correction. No, that's unacceptable. There's no reason that I can think of to bark at a dog on a TV. Same thing with you, John, with the gunshots or a fight. Try to record a show that you know is going to have those situations in it and use it as a training opportunity to teach them, okay, this is an unacceptable behavior. Let me show you a different way to do this. And what you do is you put him on a leash, and when he does have his unwanted behavior, nope, and you stay with it, and the exercise and the discipline ends when the state of mind is calm. I don't know why these certain things, like why these two dogs that I have here right now, were triggered by a dog on a TV. But I didn't ask why, because I don't like that question. Who cares why? I don't like it. Let's change it. The dog, when I first got these dogs I think, I don't even know what day I got them. I think it was Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. Um, because of where I live, there's dogs out in the courtyard. There's dogs beneath me that bark. They would bark at these dogs. And I did the same routine. I don't like barking in the apartment for those reasons. If somebody knocks on the door, I want barking. But just because a dog is barking from the other side of the complex doesn't mean you should be barking. So I did the same routine, put the dogs on a leash, dog bark, nope. And now I would say they're 80% cured. Um, and these aren't dogs I'm training, these are dogs I'm watching, but they had to fit into my style of life, and I don't like dogs barking at things outside for no reason. If a dog is barking on somebody else's terrace across the complex, that doesn't mean you should be barking. So it's the same theory with the TV. If you don't like it, I would record shows that have gunshots and fight scenes and things that you know are going to trigger him, and take those as training opportunities. This is not a bad behavior. This is an unwanted behavior. He just doesn't know how to act when he sees this stuff. Change the narrative. And if you do it with your calmer energy and you stay consistent with it like anything else, eventually they just give it up, and all of a sudden one day you're watching the show and they don't react. No worries, Donna. How's my boy Stark doing and your whole family? Um, so again, the more you stay consistent, John, the more the dog's going to get it. But you got to stay calm. Don't think about why he's reacting to the TV. It doesn't matter why. Just fix it. Change the narrative. Um, and here's something I want to tell you. I was working with a customer this week, and I don't know if I use this analogy with you guys, But one morning, probably like 3 o'clock in the morning, I bolted up in bed. Yes, I love it. Let me know how it goes next week, John. Let me know how the progress is. But one of the things I had this epiphany. I woke up like 3 o'clock in the morning with this wonderful epiphany in my head because that's how I work. And I thought about what I do with training dogs and helping people. Let me rephrase that: rehabilitating dogs and training people, to quote Cesar Millan. And I always say it's a journey. And I'm trying to figure out ways to explain it to people. So let me know if this makes sense to you. So what I pictured is a Ming vase. This is what woke me up. I pictured a Ming vase. It's a beautiful work of art worth millions and millions of dollars. But if you really think about it, what is a Ming vase? It started off as a lump of freaking clay. That's what it started as. And then we take the clay and we knead it and we do all this stuff to it to make it soft and pliable, whatever the heck it is. I'm not an artist. I'm not a vase maker, but I kind of get the gist of it. And then we put it on our spinning wheelie thing and we start molding it and we start forming it and we start doing this. And we're trying to get to this beautiful piece of art and it collapses. And we start the journey all over. Because at the end of the journey, and this path that we chose to take with this lump of clay, our dogs, we see this beautiful work of art. And the beauty of the work of art is it didn't start out that beautiful. So the journey is taking our dogs from this lump of clay and molding this Ming vase because the end result is so worth it. So if you look at it, and that's why I try to tell people with the process of training our dogs, the journey we're taking together with our dogs is they are going to have good days and they're going to have bad days. They're going to be times they're on that spinny wheelie thing and it's going to collapse and then we're going to have to start all over. We can't get frustrated with the process because we know that's the process. So let me know, guys, does that analogy make sense in the journey that we chose to take with our dogs? Let me know in the comments. Donna says everyone is good. I'm glad. Reworking with Stark and the vacuum on the fly robot. The last one broke, so training with him stopped for a month. He can sit next to it when it's quiet and docked. Once it moves in the dock, he's so very nervous. You know the process. You have to make him sit there calmly while this thing is working. But it starts with you guys on the leash. Just sit there. Make sure it doesn't hit him because, guys, that's one of the things I don't like about these iRobots is they don't really pay attention and sometimes they bash into our animals. But we need them in our world today. I have one here. God bless Zoe. Nothing rattles her. She just gets annoyed when it bashes into her dog bed when she's on it, but she's very calm about it because when I started up, I didn't think that she was going to react to it. I didn't care. If she did, I was going to teach her another way to do it. But yeah, you know the process. Unfortunately, that happens in the training journey. That something gets in the way of continuing the process of training, and we regroup. But it shouldn't take you as long as it did the first time. It's no different. When we worked with Stark, when we first put the prong collar on him, and he threw that temper tantrum at me out on the front lawn. The first temper tantrum lasted, I don't know, 10 seconds or whatever. And then the next temper tantrum wasn't as long. So it's a process. I've been training a few days each week for the past 2 weeks. Good. It's just going to take some time. Remember, he knows what you want. He's stuck in this mode right now. And remember, if you can calm yourself down even more when you're working with him in this situation, the calmer you are, the quicker he'll get the adjustment. Grace says, I got Maggie from Remember Me Rescue. She's afraid of strangers walking on the street. She will only go out for a walk on the street at night when people are. Makes sense. If she sees a person even a half a block away, she will pull away really hard. In the house, she feels more confident. I will keep away from strangers. Sorry, I have tried treats, but once she sees a person walking, she is blind and deaf and won't take food. Any ideas how to make? Yes. One, Grace, I don't know if you, and I do recommend it to anybody who's new watching, anybody who's watched and hasn't done it yet. Please go to my YouTube channel, Back to Basics Dog Training, on YouTube. Look for the logo right there. I'm getting better at this pointing thing. Um, and find my YouTube channel. I have a series on there, How to Leash Train Your Dog, which is really mastering the walk. And I would follow all the steps. One of the things I would definitely say is, good morning, Susan. How's our girl Hope doing? Um, One of the things I would definitely say is practice your threshold management. Make sure she goes out of the door calmly, like a lady, and then set her up for success. And that, what I mean by set her up for success, is have a friend or a neighbor or somebody you can work with be down the block on the other side of the street. And what I want you to do is, first of all, get it out of your head, and this is hard, Grace, that she's going to react. Most of the time, when I see dogs react negatively on leashes, is because we've seen the unwanted behaviors out of our dogs, and we see the person before they do. We start tensing up. Okay, I'm ready for the battle. I'm ready for the battle. I know she's going to try to get the hell away. I got to make sure she's safe. Blah, 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 blah. And we go through this whole gamut in our heads and think about what it does to your energy at that point. And then you're communicating that energy from your body through the leash to your dog. And your dog is saying, "Whoa, something's up." And that's when they start reacting. So one of the things I tell people to do is, okay, and that's why I said set her up first. She's always calm and ladylike on the walk until she sees the person. She is way ahead of me. She reacts most of the time before I see the person. Okay, so this is why I'm saying set her up for success. Use somebody that you can work with from a distance. Have them be down the block, and then start watching. You know the person's there, so I say out of the corner of your eye, watch her. She may be walking like a lady with that prance. She sees that person, something changes right there at that minuscule little change in her normal happy-go-lucky prance. Because I'm happy to be out walking with my mommy. She changes. A slight correction on the leash with your no, your discipline sound, your no, your nope, your hey, whatever discipline sound you're using to unlock her brain before she can get too geared up towards it. Sit. And then you remember to focus yourself and hold the leash short so we take away the flight mechanism next to you and just have the person pass. No, don't even acknowledge the person, just have them pass, walk past you. Whoop, and have them come back. Have them come back. And slowly but surely, you're going to decrease that distance to the point where you go for a walk with that person. But you're going to desensitize her to what is, for whatever reason, freaking her out on this leash. But you have to do it in that controlled environment. That's why I say we set her up for success. So use somebody who can wait down the street a half a block. I've done this with dogs like this, with my daughter or my wife or somebody I know. I have them waiting down the block. I handle the leash. I see the person. My energy changes. Oh yes, this is the opportunity. I start watching the dog. As soon as I see a little bit of a change, I make my correction. Give them something else to do. Sometimes I'll position my body in front of them so I'm more in their view. And then when they pass, good, without a lot of excitement because we don't want to make them think that there's something wrong. Um, make them understand that it's okay for that person without the words, and don't try to rationalize with them. Don't try to use human psychology. Use your energy. This is what you expect. I expect you to act like a lady even when people pass. Stop with this flight mechanism. It's a very common. Susan said, this is so true. Great to you, Grace. I'm going to put this comment up there. I hope it pops up fully. Um, he speaks from experience. Um, she is ahead of you because you are not aware of the energy and how to communicate with the dog, and that's a great way to say it. She's a rescue. I understand that, and has a lot of issues. I think she is hard of hearing. She doesn't sit. She was about 6 to 8 total guests when I got her. She is now well behaved in the house, but doesn't do many commands. A few now. Okay. Again, Grace, just so you know how my mindset works, obedience is great it ain't that damn important to me. When I say this, what I told you, that pop the dog, say no, have her sit. The sitting is making us feel better. What I don't want is forward motion. Sitting is obedience. Behavior is the state of mind. We need to fix her state of mind. And I know I've worked with a lot of Michelle's dogs that are older dogs because she does a great job rescuing the seniors. Who most of the time the dogs that Michelle gets, God bless Michelle, are dogs that came from horrible situations and just never had rules, boundaries, limitations. Using Sue's dog Hope. Hope was in the shelter for 3 years, knew nothing. And the beauty of dogs is if you stay consistent, not with the actions, with your energy, that calm energy. This is what I had to really get through to Sue. Hope is a process now learning and reacting beautifully with hand gestures. That's a great way to do it. So if you think she's hard of hearing, you can work with hand gestures. Um, but the energy is the communication tool that you really, really need for you internally to check because you got to say, it's okay. There's no reason for it. I trust you not to react. Please trust me. And that energy goes so far. That's why, and I'm going to use Hope as the example and Stark as the example. When I took the leash from their moms, those dogs pretty much instantly behaved. I'm not going to say they were perfect. Why? Because my energy is I trust you to do what I'm asking you to do. I'm not saying it, I'm not verbalizing it with the words, I'm verbalizing it with my energy because that's how we communicate together. 99% of the issues I deal with dogs is because of the human energy. Susan says it was instant, and they get it. It's just you have to actually see it to believe it. Um, One of my goals this year is to videotape more and more of my sessions. I videotape the sessions that I work with the Doberman and the yeah, definitely don't. And guys, this is just me being semantical right now. Don't try it, just do it. Trying means I may fail. Just do it. Trust yourself. I'm telling you guys, if you put the trust in yourself that you got this situation handled, your dog's confidence in you will change. There's never a situation I can be put in with a dog that I don't trust myself to handle right for the dog. Now, I don't worry about what the human thinks sometimes. I worry about what I need to do for the dog because I advocate for dogs. Um, Christine King asks, I have a COVID puppy. I literally can't leash him and bring him to the car. He panics on the stoop. He pees himself in fear. I'm at a loss. Okay. One thing is, this dog is terrified. So what I would start doing is using the leash more in the house and just walking around the house, walk around the backyard with him on the leash. Make the leash a good thing. COVID puppies, unfortunately, because they weren't socialized properly, because we were quarantined, things weren't going on like they normally were. So COVID puppies have a lot of issues to deal with. And it's just desensitizing them to things that just they're not sure about. So what I would do is definitely use the leash a little bit more in the house and have them follow you around the house. Don't worry about the front right now. That's later on down the road. That's as we're building up this vase. Then I would also use a lot, if you have a yard, a fenced in yard, walk the dog around your yard. Just get you and him comfortable walking on this leash. And then change it up. Go out through the gate if you have a fenced in yard. Don't go to the stoop. Um, um, and then eventually just make it fun. Just make it fun. And every time you pass one of those thresholds, um, Christine, sorry, it scrolled up and I forgot names. Every time you pass one of those thresholds that normally would shut down, good. Yes, use your energy. Use treats if you have to. High value treats, guys. When you're dealing with a dog that's just scared, don't use regular milk bones. Use chicken. Use something healthy. Healthy food. Boiled chicken, no seasonings. Um, you can use meat. Again, no seasonings. Something that's really going to entice them, and don't just give it to them. Let them come to it. Um, because I'm not sure where you're located, but that's definitely something that might require a trainer because from your point, doggy mommy, it's heartbreaking seeing this, and you really have to shut off those emotions and let the dog, you know, help the dog through it. When they shut down and they don't want to move, I actually guide them to move without dragging them or forcing them. I stay calmer. I reward any type of motion. It's a whole process. If you want, I'll put my contact information up here. You can definitely reach out to me. We can do a one-on-one on that if you're not local, on a Zoom if you want. Or you can email me or text me at this information here. It's real important that we understand what the dog is saying to us and we can work them through it. It is definitely possible, but it's got to be that process of building up this vase, guys, and it's going to fall down. That's a hard one, Christine. But if you do it, start utilizing the leash for more things than just going out the door. That's why I said use it in the house, use it in the backyard, use it to go through the gate, then eventually introduce the dog, or go out the gate and come back in through the front door up the stoop. Oh, look at that! It changes the dynamic. Grace says when I got her, she had to walk in a harness and a collar. She is now walking in a martingale collar. Beautiful. She is an American bully. Sorry. Her neck is the same size as her head. Leash corrections barely register. Okay, if leash corrections don't register, you have to change up the tools. And I know people aren't going to like to hear this. I know Donna and Sue can speak highly of it because leash corrections for them weren't working with their dogs. We went to a Herm Springer prong collar, a 2.25, and the dogs almost instantly understood there's a difference. The corrections aren't nearly as hard as they were on the leash. It's actually better, and they don't choke the dog. So when she's in that flight mechanism and this pressure on the martingale, she's choking. You get that noise. You won't get that with a prong. Prongs can be introduced in the right way. I'd be happy to give a one-on-one lesson on it, Grace. Again, reach out to me. I can go into a lot more detail on it. Guys, this is going to be another reason. You know what, Grace? I am going to do the video on the prong collars. So you guys have to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see these videos. Of course, I'll post them on the links to them on my Facebook page as well as Remember Me Rescues. I know a lot of people think the prong collars are barbaric, but I'm going to tell you now, the people that are using them, Sue, Donna, you can tell them they're not barbaric because you guys use them on your dogs and it actually has helped you immensely. Prong collar may not be a bad idea. I use them on my dog, Zoe, who doesn't pull on a leash, but I do it because she has a thyroid problem. And anytime the collar hits her thyroid, she kind of gags a little bit. So I don't like the gagging. I put the prong on her. My daughter uses it on her red-nosed pit bull because he pulls her ridiculously without it. And once we switched him over to the prong, she can walk him 2 fingers on a leash instantly. It's like a miracle. I have a vibration collar. When the dog is all I did was the remote that would get the remote and he would stop. Yeah. And again, the remote collars, the vibration collars, the stimulus collars are not bad options, guys, if used properly. Guys, I talk about tools all the time. I've said this. Donna can attest to it. Sue can attest to it. Anybody I've been in their house. Tools are only good as the humans behind the tools. The tools themselves will never hurt the dog. The human behind the tool will hurt the dog. So if you're not comfortable with the tool, don't use it. Of course, get professional help. I personally believe prong collars, e-collars, stimulus collars, vibration collars should not be sold to the general public without a trainer being involved. That's just my opinion because most people don't know how to use them properly. Donna says we still use the prong anytime we take Stark for a walk. I have a bad back. I barely need to hold the leash now. There you go. And Stark is a strong boy. We tried the slip leash with him, if I remember correctly. He was fine for me on it. He wasn't fine for them. We made the change. He wasn't happy about the change in the beginning, but after the initial temper tantrum, he was like, okay, this thing ain't that bad. Let's go. And he walks like a gentleman most 99% of the time, I would say. So don't be afraid of the tools, guys. It's real important. If you're not sure about what tools you need to help your dog, shoot me a message. He's 70 pounds, solid muscle. Yeah, I know. He's a goofball though. Guys, Remember, always reach out to me if you're not sure of something. If you have questions, Facebook message me, shoot me a text at the phone number on the screen, email me at info at Back to Basics Dog Training. Remember, we're here to help the dogs. He goes for 2 to 3 runs a week. Wow, with Brian now, that's fantastic. I just got a prong collar, so I'm going to try it out today. Andrea, it's a great tool. Um, Hopefully, it's a Herm Springer. It's the only one I really trust. And what size did you get? Because I think a lot of times people buy the wrong size prong collar. Uh, Here's an example. Stark is a 70-pound pit bull mix, and I went with what they call the small, the 2.25 millimeter, and it's the right one for him. The 3.0, the 3.2, or 3.25 for most dogs is the wrong collar, and for some reason people think the bigger the better. It actually creates a negative effect. So, Andre, if you know what size it is, uh, Leon will recommend the most trustworthy tool that will not hurt your animal. Guys, remember, thank you, Don. I'm glad you said that. And thank you for the trust and the confidence. Um, when I talk about disciplining a dog, correcting a dog, using these tools, at Back to Basics, it's very simple. None of our corrections, none of our discipline is designed to hurt or scare your dog or beat your dog into submission. It's to get your dog to make better decisions, to want to work alongside you. Same way when I raised my girls, I didn't want my girls responding to me out of fear. I wanted my girls to respond to me out of respect. And that's what the training process is with your dogs. If you get a trainer that tries to bully your dog into it, fire the trainer. If you have a spouse that's or a significant other or whatever that's trying to bully your dog into submission to get them to follow, get rid of that person. Training is supposed to be a fun journey. It's building this Ming vase. I keep saying I love this analogy that I came up with. Uh, it is okay if we allow the dog to walk in front of you. No, not in the beginning. Not in the beginning, at least. Um, if you're in training mode, I would never let the dog walk in front of you. Period. End of discussion. You got to remember how pack perception works, not only to your dog, but to other dogs in the area. If your dog's in front of you, their job is to protect their pack. We don't want our dogs doing that unless we need them to do that. So not only does your dog think they're in charge, you're not as relevant because you're behind, so I don't have to listen to you as much. But another dog that's on their property or walking around or whatever sees your dog in front of the pack, and if they're an alpha type of dog, they're gonna, hey, you come near my territory, we're gonna fight. Dogs should be with us, guys, next to us. Once they're balanced, once they're, and I'm gonna use my Zoe as an example. If I want Zoe to heel, she heals. Most of the time when I walk her, she's maybe half ahead of me. I don't care. She doesn't need to be behind me. But during training mode, and that's why I do suggest watching my videos, the structured part of the walk, she should be near you. The it's really a very gray area. Donna said, please reach out to him, follow through with recommendations. I've had to call. Whoa, you guys, I keep mine on my side and on my left. Yeah, left or right, guys, I don't care about. Left was actually designed for the dog show world because of the way the judges stood and you had to walk around. I actually believe you should teach all dogs to walk on both sides of you. Please. So Donna says, I have to call over to e-collar company as Stark was having allergy conditions months later. They spent time with me on the phone and figured it out. Yeah, the companies I recommend, guys, are going to be companies that are going to help you if I'm not available or I don't know the answer. The e-collar and prong collar, along with Leon's guidance, has been our family's saving grace to give Stark our home. He is a lovable goofball. He's 70 pounds mush now, right? Uh, yeah, John, like I said, keeping your dog next to you is the right thing. 99% of the times when I walk Zoe, she's next to me. Even when we're off leash, she's next to me. Like I said, she may be a little ahead of me, sometimes a little behind me, but she's with me because that's how it should be. We should be with our dogs. Got it. That's why he runs and pulls and drags me over to other dogs. Absolutely. He thinks he's allowed to because he's in charge. Until you, like I said, with Zoe, it's a different world, but guys, I know she's 9 years old. She's my dog. I put a lot of work into my dog. I keep telling people this. She's not a 100% balanced dog because she's my dog. She's 100% balanced because I put the effort into training her. We had a conversation in the car yesterday. We're at somebody's house who has a 8-month-old puppy, and my wife's like, "Well, puppies should be puppies. They should be allowed to do that." I said, "Absolutely, puppies should be puppies, but training needs to take place too." Zoe was trained from the time I got her, 8 weeks old. I was working with Zoe. So by the time she was that 7, 8-month-old puppy, she was a balanced dog already and off leash. But I started training, and I let her be a puppy because that's what she was. But I controlled when she was allowed to be a puppy. So, guys, it's real important. And 99% of it is our energy. The energy behind our corrections, the energy when we ask them to do something, the energy when we're disappointed in them, the energy when we're happy with them, the energy when we're pissed off at them, whatever, even though I don't like anger, but we're human. Um, and your corrections have to be that no nonsense. You don't need to explain to them why, and I'm going to use Andrea's case right now, why he shouldn't run and drag you to another dog. You don't have to explain it to him. No means no. Why? Because you said so. And how do you approach another dog? We go over like ladies and gentlemen to another dog, never dragging me. So, guys, we're at the wow, 50, almost 55 minutes. This was a great session. We had a lot of great questions. Remember, if you're watching it now, smash the like button, share this with your friends and relatives around the country and around the world, guys. The more people we get on here, the more questions we can get out there, the more questions somebody else can ask that could possibly help you with your dog. So that's why I keep asking you to share. It's a free platform. Only payment I ask is share it. So with that being said, guys, if there is no other questions, we're going to wrap it up for this week. I am going to do I'll do both. I'll do an e-collar tutorial this week and a prong collar tutorial this week. So keep an eye on your feeds, guys. I'll post the links out there once I publish them. It'll be my goal this week. I'm going to actually get done with this and write it down in my calendar what days I'm going to do it so I don't forget. And with that being said, guys, I know we're in the Passover and Easter. So to all my friends, family, relatives, pack members out there who are watching, happy Pesach, happy Easter. Enjoy time with your family if that's what you're going to do. If not, enjoy times. So I'll tell you. Yeah, definitely let me know. And with that being said, guys, as always, thank you for inviting me into your homes each and every Saturday. It's an honor. It's a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Remember, please share this out with your friends and relatives around the country and around the world. And with that being said, guys, as always, stay healthy, stay safe. God bless. And remember, together, we can help one dog and one family at a time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. And again, happy Passover, happy Easter. We'll see you next Saturday.